Muy buenas a todos, soy Mariatxi, bienvenidos a un nuevo juego, bienvenidos a un nuevo indie. Bueno, pues hoy le toca el turno a este Hitchhiker Mystery Game. Estamos lo que es ante una especie de juego narrativo. Somos un autoestopista, nos metemos en un coche y bueno, tenemos que ir charlando con el conductor y bueno, pues desentrañando un poco la historia que nos van contando. Un juego con muy buenas reseñas positivas. Alguna que otra también un poco mala, pues hay gente que, bueno, pues me imagino que este tipo de juegos les resulta aburrido. Y bueno, juego del 2021, abril del 2021, hace un añito, está en castellano, 13,49 euros, desarrollado por Madabot Pandas y editado por Versus Evil. Y vamos a ver qué nos depara, ¿no? Pues todo lo que probablemente es bastante misterioso y te hace volar la mente, muy recomendado. Creo que unas 2 horas y media, 3. A ver si nos lo podemos acabar hoy. Y bueno, pues esto es lo que hay y esto es lo que vamos a jugar hoy. Ya sabéis, canal de Twitch, de YouTube, Mariatxi. Suscribiros, que es bueno, bonito y barato. Así que comenzamos. Perfecto. Bueno, ajustes tenemos general, de idiomas, tamaño de la fuente, realidad ultra, bueno, típico. Vamos a comenzar. Hitchhiker. Creo que es autoestopista, puede ser. Igual el suyo está muy alto, un segundo. Vale.
So, where are you headed? Not the talkative type, eh? That's okay. Most people I pick up are just waiting for their turn to talk.
Flapa, buenas noches.
Want a raisin? They're from my farm.
Los envenenan. Nos secuestran y nos...
Guess those things don't agree with you yet. Strange. They're Thompson seedless. Good raisins. We still farm more of those in California than anywhere on Earth. You want to know the clearest evidence that reality isn't real? Raisins and grapes, man. They're the same thing, but they taste disgusting when eaten together. Obvious bug in the program there, right? Memory is a slippery thing. Think about when somebody asks you about this ride later. Assuming you even know where you're going, and get someplace where somebody can ask you. Hey, how'd you get here anyway? They'll ask you. Oh, I hitched. And your brain will flash back for a second when you say this. And it'll show you a frozen snapshot of yourself. Sitting in this car, talking to me, like we are right now. But which moment will it actually show you? Will it be this one? Or this one? Or this one? We think we remember how people really were, how our lives together really were. But when we think back to them, even the people we cared about the most, all we're doing is snatching moments out of the air. Just grabbing another raisin out of the box. My wife. She's dead now, but you probably guessed that.
Lo siento.
Thanks. But you don't look like you're doing so well yourself.
¿Qué te hace decir
Takes
eso?
one to know one, right? I can always spot someone who's grieving along this highway. They usually stand on the road with a dazed look on their face and their thumb up in the air.
¿Por qué crees que estoy de luto?
Young guy like you, I wouldn't have a clue.
Entonces, ¿qué recuerdas de ella?
My wife? If I'm totally honest with you, I don't really remember what she looked like. Remember everything about her, just not her face. Some people have faces that are easy to remember. Doesn't seem fair.
Aún así creo que recordarías a tu propia esposa.
Well, it's not as easy as you think. I'll give you an example. You think you're present in the moment? You've been talking to me for a few minutes now. What color are my eyes?
Pues yo diría que son azules.
Yep, not bad. But that's just your photographer's eye. Just figured from your gear. A lot of photographers carry that backpack. Tell you what, Ansel Adams. Do me a favor and crack the window, would you? That's better. Now.
Help.
Now, where were we? What you got there?
Solo una caja de fósforos.
Just a matchbook, huh? I figured it must have been something important.
¿Qué te hace decir eso?
Because the window is still open.
¿Recoges a muchos autoestopistas?
Yeah, fair number. But after a while, you start seeing the same few archetypes over and over. You got the numbnuts Kerouac fans. You got your autodidact blowhards. They'll talk your ears off. You get a lot of people from Cincinnati for some reason. You got your deadheads trying to get to some concert someplace. And then there's the water bottle person, always worrying that they're going to run out of water before they get where they're going. Still, you're the first hitcher I ever picked up who doesn't have a destination. Copernicus.
Copérnico, muy gracioso.
Well, seems like the right name for a guy who's traveling the world without knowing where he's going. You just sit back, Copernicus, and invent a language where false statements are impossible.
El señor era Comenius.
What?
Fue Comenius quien desarrolló los idiomas, no Copérnico.
Oh, I stand corrected. You know, when I was a kid, my brother and I used to drive our parents crazy on long drives like this.
Va 60
Our
de rato,
folks wouldn't let us listen to the radio in the car. So we used to make up these songs about food on long drives to pass the time. We had this one with about 30 verses, each about a different kind of grain. There was this one time when we passed a billboard for this new kind of bread, balach bread. In hell they have a hell a lot of balach bread. In hell they have a hell a lot of bread. In hell they have a hell a lot of bread. In hell they have a hell a lot of
Se va a pegar todos dos, sí, no jodas.
Oh yeah, that drove Mom and Dad crazy. Come on, join in. In hell they have a hell a lot of bread. In hell they have a hell a lot of bread. In hell they have a hell a lot of
Qué tío más raro, ¿no?
bread. In hell they have a hell a lot of bread.
¿Qué dices? Nace un radiocasete.
Actually, I'm beginning to understand my parents' perspective. Getting older is funny. It's like reading a book where less and less happens, but the writing gets better and better.
Eso es muy profundo.
Thanks. I got it from an app. It's this app with philosophical sayings. My wife got it for me, to make me sound smarter. She had a way with words.
Parece que hacíais buena pareja.
Yeah, well, that all sort of depends on which raisin you take out of the box, right? How you spin it. We were married for 37 years. People used to ask us how we managed, being married and all.
Pues ya se ha traducido, ¿no?
Working.
El amor es más difícil.
Working off the side of the road together, sharing a little trailer. The truth is, nobody knows if they're happily married. All they know is that it's the thing they've been doing every day for the last 37 years. Yeah, we used to have a strict division of labor back when we worked together. She would raise the grape from the time it appeared on the vine, and I'd step in as soon as it was time to start drying them. Our customers used to have fun with that. I'm the dry one, they'd say. Grapes attract a certain kind of person. A person who likes to tell jokes. Wine enthusiasts, tourists, people who like to talk. There's a photo in that glove box there of us, standing in front of our trailer. It was in a magazine. One of those stories about vanishing farmers that always pulls heartstrings with the rest of the country. Well, I never opened the glove box myself. It's kind of a superstition of mine. But help yourself. Hey, where'd you get that? That's not her. And that guy there, he looks like you.
¿Qué hacéis en tu coche?
I don't know. I was gonna ask you the same question, Copernicus. Did he... Who gave this to you?
Es tu guantera, la mía.
Well, I guess it belongs to you. You'd better hold on to it.
Venga, la hostia.
What woman?
La mujer de la foto.
Oh, her. Well, hard to say. I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. What's that black thing in the glove box anyway? See anything interesting there?
Bueno, molino de viento.
A
Qué raro.
windmill, eh? No idea.
¿En qué momento me descuartizan? The Farmers. Descanso de escena. Y ahora entiendo el conductor para continuar la conversación.
say? Want to hear a joke?
Claro.
Why did the raisin take the prune to the dance? He couldn't get a date.
Son como los de Señor Super, igual de malos.
Hey, that reminds me. It's almost 4:30. You'll like this. It's my favorite. I once knew the hostess, Darlene. She used to change the tires on my truck on Highway 51.
Welcome to another Interstate Riddle Hour. Here's our first riddle. Keep your eyes peeled, all you blacktop carpetbaggers. I fly, yet I have no wings. I cry, yet I have no eyes. Darkness follows me. Lower light I never see.
Encuentra el objeto correcto. What?
Need some help? I fly, yet I have no wings. I cry, yet I have no eyes. Darkness follows me. Lower light I never see.
Pues las nubes.
Very good. Here's our next one. A gatekeeper forever bound. He opens and shuts with a similar sound. Need some help? A gatekeeper
Un portón
forever
cerrado para
bound.
siempre.
He opens and shuts with a similar sound.
What? Portón cerrado para siempre.
Need some help? A gatekeeper forever bound. He opens and shuts with a similar sound. Need some help? Think metal teeth that open and shut. Very good.
La
I
mochila.
don't know why I listen to this every day. Damn questions are rigged. I never get them.
Says the guy who never knew what pressure to keep his tires at.
Hey,
Having fun? Want to keep going? Great. Here's another one. Take one out and scratch my head. I am now black, but once was red. What am I?
Unas cerillas.
Well done. Okay, here's a tough one. I have 4 wings but cannot fly. I never laugh and never cry. On the same spot I'm always found, toiling away with little sound. What am I? Need some help? I have 4 wings but cannot fly. I never laugh and never cry. On the same spot I'm always found, toiling away with little sound.
Tengo 4 horas y no me verás sonar. coño es
Need
esto?
some help? Round and round we go, people.
El granjero. No puedo dejar de hacer. A esto.
All right, here's our last riddle.
Este molino de viento, sí. Me pensaba
He
que
lies
señalar el otro, pero...
without touching the ground.
Oh, come on, Darlene.
¿Qué ha pasado? Que no me he enterado.
Need some help?
No me he enterado.
He lies without touching the ground.
Se tiende sin tocar el suelo.
Need some help? I never did like changing his tires. The lion liar.
Damn it, Darlene. I should have tipped her better when she changed the tires. She's been out to get me ever since. Look, she isn't being straight with you, kid.
Check the photo, Copernicus. The photo in your bag. Then you'll see. She's in trouble, Copernicus. You must help her.
Things like that happen all the time on this highway. It's nothing to lose your scrunchie over. Kid, I am sorry about your girlfriend, but I had nothing to do with it. It's just the opposite. I was sent to protect you.
What?
From yourself.
¿Eh?
You picked this car every bit as much as I chose to stop for you. You picked this car, picked me, not to feel anything. Kid, just let it go. There's nothing for you down that road. Nothing but hurt. Look, I admit I lied, but only about one thing. Nope. I'm as surprised by that one as you are. Yeah, we've met. Twice, in fact. Sure. You showed up at my trailer park taking photos. At first, I was a bit suspicious, since there were plans to kick us out and develop the trailer park into some kind of shopping center. But then it became clear that you'd been sent here by a magazine to do one of those stories about vanishing farmers that always pulls heartstrings with the rest of the country. Kid, I told you, you don't want to go down that road. Well, there's one more lie I told you. We're not #1 anymore. In raisin production. We were surpassed last year by Turkey.
No cambies de tema. Dime la verdad, quiero saberlo.
I wasn't afraid of the truth either, back then. My wife, when she got the x-rays, when she knew, she decided to spare my feelings. Didn't tell me anything. Hid the x-rays in one place I'd never suspect, because it was so obvious.
Ahí, en la guantera.
Stayed closed until today, till you came along.
Para cambiar de asunto y al punto.
I wish it was that simple, kid.
¿Qué quieres decir?
Hey, Chief. Why don't you have a look here?
What?
He appeared on this highway about the same time you did. I guess he's part of what you're running from.
¿Cómo desapareció el asiento trasero?
Not sure. You can't see him directly. He only shows up in mirrors, windows, pictures.
Mira, ¿qué está pasando aquí?
Well, we haven't talked yet about the second time we met.
Vale, hablemos de la segunda vez entonces.
That's the thing. It's a little hard to explain. Better if I just take you there.
¿Llevarme a dónde?
It's just a quick detour. We'll be there in a minute. But close the window. You don't want to have it open where we're headed.
Hostia, qué mosqueo, ¿no? Sí, de momento sí.
A man travels along a road until he reaches a gate at the top of a hill. The road has been long and straight so far, and the going has been easy. But now the man can't go any further, so he takes a seat by the road to rest. The man waits, and after a length of time that seems neither short nor long, the gate opens, and a guard appears.
Pide a la guardia que te deje entrar.
The man asks the guard for entry, but the guard says he cannot let him enter at the moment. The man thinks for a second and asks if he will be allowed through later. It is possible, says the guard, but not now.
Mira a través de la
The
puerta.
gate now stands slightly open, and the man tries to look through it longingly. His journey has been easy so far, and he misses the feeling of the open road. The guard notices and laughs. Even if you could gain entry, there are many gatekeepers after me. Some are much stronger than me, and I'm afraid to look upon them. So there the man waits, for days, months, years, waiting to enter. One day, when he's given up hope of entering, a single question occurs to him, one he has not thought of before. Why, he wonders aloud, are there no other travelers along this road? All these years, no one but myself has waited in front of this gate. The answer to this question comes from a voice near his shoulder. It is you who made this gate, says a bird perched nearby. So it exists for no one but you. But why? Asks the traveler. Why would I choose to stop here?
Alimenta al pájaro.
The bird answers after hungrily eating a crust of bread from the man's hand. After this point, the road becomes less straight. It splinters like the tree in which I live, splitting into dozens, hundreds of branches. The path becomes impossibly narrow and frail, and crowded with the view of other paths one could have taken. There's only one point ahead on the road where all paths converge, where all points join, where the light shines through skin and through lies. But it's never been reached by one of your kind, a traveler who walks on feet. Shoo! Cries the guard, chasing the bird away. Don't listen to his nonsense. Having said this, he takes a seat next to the traveler, but not before closing the gate forever. So when you think about it, who knows how long we've been sitting here, just like this, on this road. Take it from me. It's better to face things with, what's it called again? Fortitude. Better not to feel too much.
Vaya chapa nos ha metido.
Want a raisin? You sure? You just need to get used to them. Life is like a box of raisins. That's some Forrest Gump type wisdom for you right there. Here, I'll leave the box open for you. Help yourself. Look, hooded crows all along this road. I have to chase these for my farm every harvest. They look hungry. Didn't get much peck out of this last harvest. You don't want to do that, kid. These birds are unpredictable. There's no telling what they'll do once they start swarming. Get enough of these crows together and it's big trouble. You're making a mistake, kid. You don't know where they're taking you. Look, I'll help you. I'll help you figure out what happened when she came back from Europe. Great. Who? We'll get to that in a sec. Let me ask you something first. Did she pack an umbrella with her on her trip to Europe? Traveler's checks or cash? If I am, it's for your own good. Want to hear a joke? Why did the raisin take the prune to the dance? It's great though, right? Get this, he couldn't get a date. You know, when I was a kid, my brother and I used to drive our parents crazy on long drives like this. Yep. Good one, right? Now you've done it. They've taken control of the car. I don't know, Copernicus. Why don't you ask them? We're at my farm, Copernicus. I had a funny feeling the moment you looked through those binoculars. Well, they're pulling us around in circles. They're afraid of the scarecrows I put up here last summer. They want to take you, I suppose, to that windmill in the middle.
¿Qué tal?
You need to rotate the scarecrows. See if you can find something in this car that might do the trick. That's it, kid. Now, more of the same. Almost there. That's it, kid. I think it's for you.
¿Qué es esto?
They have a way of leaving gifts once you've fed them. Often something shiny or a piece of string.
Los cuervos me están ayudando a recordar.
I'm going away for 2 months. I'll be back before you know it. It's practically a cliche. Going to Europe to have new experiences, and yeah, it's corny. But maybe find myself.
I guess I'm just worried that you'll find yourself but lose me along the way.
I'll be back before you know it. Promise. Here's a security deposit.
What a weird box. Did you win this at the circus?
It's great, right? I'll send you something special from Europe to put inside, so you know I'm thinking of you. And then we have our road trip together when I get back. You won't miss me anyway. You have plenty to keep you busy, like that job in California. The story about the
vanishing grape farmers. You're right. I'm worrying too much. I love it. Does it lock?
In some other world, it must, but not here. Okay, trade you a memory box for your Polaroid. Say cheese.
Well, now that you know how it started, it doesn't make the next step any easier, does it?
Necesito ver qué sigo mis recuerdos. ¿Qué me
Listen,
pasó?
I disapprove of just about every choice you've made on this trip. But I like you, kid, and I can see you've made up your mind. If you want to find your girlfriend, if you want to find out what happened, if you really want to go there, you've got to find that box.
Vale, pero ¿cómo? Podría estar en cualquier
I
parte.
don't know, kid. But find that box and the key. Open the box before it's too late. Well, this is where I say goodbye. Unless you want to help transport 4 bushels across. Nah. Just remember, there are many more gates ahead and many more guards. I'm pretty much the friendly drunken uncle of the bunch. Well, good luck to you, kid. Oh, one more thing.
¿Qué pasa?
What did the grape say when he got run over by the car?
Ni idea.
Nothing. He just gave a little whine.
Qué malo.
Good luck with your search.
It's the second house on the right here. No, wait, the third.
Don't you remember where it is? I thought you spent your whole childhood here.
Do you know what put us on top of the food chain? Do you know? And please don't say opposable thumbs. Plenty of animals have those. Possums, koalas, something called the waxy monkey leaf frog. They're nothing special. Forget about thumbs, okay? Memory is what put us here. So many of our dreams are set in the places where we used to live. We want to see them, visit them again. There should be a rule, a kind of a social convention. The old apartment room. Works like this. We can show up any place we used to live and simply explain, oh, I used to live here. There's nothing strange about it. The people who live there just throw open their doors and invite us in to have a look around. So we can go back home again. So we can be whole. Hey, are you keeping an eye out? Oh dear. I didn't mean to put you to sleep with my talking.
Sí, son aventuras en las que supuestamente descubres la trama que te pasa. Se supone que esté buscando.
We're looking for Asper Street. And at least it used to be called that. The problem is that a few years ago they rearranged all the letters of the street signs in this neighborhood. Very impractical. I didn't catch your name. Time hops. You don't remember. Well, they say sleep is the cousin of death. Well, you're lucky I happened to find you in that cornfield. Some of the places I'm asked to lecture at these days, dubious at best. No, just a second. Let's find this Asper Street, please, before we begin our inquiries. Like I say, they might have rearranged the letters a bit.
Recuerda, los niños pueden tener las letras mezcladas. De la calle Asper. Tan letal, tío.
Ah, yes, that's it. Very good. So, where
Es
are
una
we?
novel visual de estas.
There was something you wanted to ask.
Somos una autotopista y nos ha pasado una cosa muy rara con el primero que nos ha recogido. Es como si pretendieras no conocerme, pero luego...
Yes, then it's going to turn out that big surprise. I do know you.
Una anfitriona de un programa de concurso atrapada en la radio te
A
delataría.
person trapped in the radio?
Quiero decir, nos hemos conocido antes, ¿cierto?
Oh, yes. We've all met you along this highway. I picked you up because I could tell you're looking for something. Something you've lost.
¿Cómo puedes decir eso?
We're all looking for something on this road. I've never met anyone who wasn't.
¿Qué
My
intentas
dog.
encontrar? Mi perra.
Well, she's been missing for a long time now.
¿Cuál es su nombre?
Hops, like me. Stupid idea, naming a dog after yourself. They constantly think they're being trained. Every time someone you know stops you in the street. Made her a little bit high-strung. So, Vern mentioned this problem you have with a photo.
Espera, ¿conoces el tipo del granjero de las pasas?
Vern? Sure. Now, I know almost everybody on this road. Well, there's not many of us after all. Excellent raisins that guy Vern has. Did you try one?
Referido.
Sound philosophy, but most people do. Yeah, a more appealing lens to view the world through. So, okay, show me this photo.
Seguro.
So, you're looking for her. What happened to her?
No soy seguro, supongo que la perdí.
Well, a singed photograph is never a good sign. I'm sorry, though.
Ether.
You don't remember anything?
No, ni un poco. Bueno, solo un poco, casi nada.
Well, I can help you with one part. You two came by my house, yes? See, that's my silo. There in the background.
¿Qué estábamos haciendo allá?
Well, there was some kind of an argument. I invited you two in and put the kettle on the stove. You never wound up making it through the front door.
¿Por qué no conseguimos entrar?
She suddenly had to take a call. You got impatient.
¿De quién era la llamada?
I don't know, but you didn't seem happy about it. I had the feeling it was a recurring thing. Someone who's in the habit of getting in the way between you two.
Me gustaría contarla, ¿me puedes ayudar?
Well, I'm happy to help however I can. What do you have in mind?
¿Recuerda algo más acerca de nuestra visita?
If you want to know what happened to her, why don't you just ask her yourself?
¿Cómo?
You haven't asked me yet where we're headed.
Vale, ¿hacia dónde vamos?
The warehouse of lost things. Impressed?
Bueno, más bien confundido.
Oh, yes. Vern said you were pretty funny. Oh, okay. It's this warehouse that contains everything you've ever lost in your life. You can find anything there. even
Sí,
if
una
you
especie de
miss
Rueda
the
96,
box.
sí.
You only get 15 minutes to look.
Solo 15 minutos.
Yes, only 15 minutes. It really threw me the last time I was there. I got distracted by some mittens. Yeah, I had as a kid. Left them at a bus stop sometime in the mid-60s. After that, my parents bought those things that clip your mittens to your coat so it wouldn't happen again.
Puedes encontrar cualquier cosa allí, de verdad.
Well, why not?
Somos una
Shamanic
autopista
tribes in
y
the
es una cosa muy
Amazon
rara.
believe that in order to heal, you have to journey into the other world, find the thing you've lost among the spirits, and bring it back. Now, and to think about all the things we misplace. Atlantis, huh? And we lost an entire city.
No sabemos nada de nuestro pasado.
Why shouldn't we get a second chance just to go back and retrieve some of the things we've left behind?
¿Tú crees Que ya estará ya.
I suppose. Well, I've never looked for people. It definitely works for pets, though. I found several of my dogs there when they run away from time to time. Stick with me, you'll see. Just keep your eyes peeled.
No es tan liante, ¿eh?
Now,
No
if I
son tantos
remember
personajes.
correctly, it's only about another 20 minutes from here.
Katie, buenas noches. Pues al final, creo que son 5 es la autopista y 5 personas que te cogen. Entonces te van contando la historia y supuestamente parece que vamos enterándonos de nuestro pasado. Ya no me entero qué ha dicho. Llama la atención para continuar la conversación. En el anterior autopista hemos encontrado pues, que nuestra novia se fue a Europa. Y parece que la estamos buscando. Dime, Katie. Hombre, enhorabuena. Rápido. Muy bien.
Peculiar.
¿Qué pasa?
It's nothing. I'm just wondering about this green light. Are you one of these people who's good with cars?
En realidad no manejo.
I was hoping you might know. I never saw it before until you got into the car.
¿Tienes un manual en algún lugar?
A car manual? Oh no. That's not the sort of book I keep in.
Sí, es lo que pasa.
I'm a humanities teacher. No, I think we'll wait to find a mechanic someplace. Perhaps that part-time quiz show hostess. Ah, the green light. The epic sense of man's urgency. The future that keeps receding from us. Yes, I suppose you've read The Great Gatsby, too. It's probably nothing major, just a reminder to get something checked. But what do I know? I'm not the technical sort. Oh, we could ask Lola. Well, she's very good with these things.
¿Alguna relación con Darlene, la fiesta de la radio?
Probably not, young man. Lola's a kind of oracle. She's given me lots of good advice, right from where you're sitting. Besides, more to the point, I'd like to check with her about directions, just to
A ver,
make
es un
sure
juego
we're the
tranquilote,
right
Dante,
way.
sin más.
See if you can find
Estoy más
me
expectante
here.
que otra cosa de... O sea, me tiene intrigado, pero no estoy aplaudiendo con las orejas. Estoy buscando una mujer llamada Lola.
No, not a woman. A bear. Well, she's quite small, you see. A toy bear. Now, I found her at the World's Fair in Barcelona, 1929, at an exhibition about alchemy. Lola Montez. Well, she's somewhere in this car now. Feel free to rummage around as much as you need.
No, yo no he dicho eso, lo que quiera. Si me está gustando. Ah, para que, joder, no siempre tienes que estar ahí pegando botes de alegría y...
What have you got there? Interesting. Looks familiar.
A ver, tanto del culo, que el juego está guapo, pero es de intriga, ¿sabes? No sé qué parte de... ¿Qué tienes que estar? Es que no sé qué... Hostia.
There she is. Ah, Lola. Put her on the glove box lid, my boy. That's where she likes to speak.
Colocar en la guantera. Ah, pues eso lo sabes tú. Ella habla.
Yes, sometimes directly, and sometimes in more of a roundabout way. Lola, dearest, now I'm here with this young fellow here, and well, the warehouse. Now, it's left up here on Concord Avenue, right? She's not ready to talk yet.
¿Hay algo que podamos hacer? Pues de acuerdo.
She's lonely, and she misses her friends.
¿Tú y yo no somos compañía suficiente?
It's nothing personal. We're just not magical. Fellow
Satabuenas.
projects. That's her preferred company. Trinkets like her, lost and found many times over the years, imbued with the memories of everyone who's ever claimed them as their own. Get enough of them together, and things start to get interesting. The present moment peels back like wallpaper to reveal the past behind it and the future ahead.
Pues me imagino que no lo sé, que mañana imagino. Nivel 11. Pues yo voy por el... No sé qué nivel voy. ¿30? No sé, no sé. ¿Puede predecir el futuro? No sé, 34 creo.
She even remembers my dog's names.
¿Cuánto tiempo ha estado perdida tu perra?
About 9 months.
9 meses. ¿Has estado buscándola por todo este tiempo?
Well, no, I couldn't look for her these last months. I got a bit detained.
¿Detenido?
Yes. It all started when I was buying some tube socks. I was on the escalator, trying to leave the mall. Do you ever have that thing where you buy something and you know it's the right thing, but you start worrying about it just as you're leaving? I was staring at the socks, wondering if they were the right length. Now, I knew they were, but I must have not been paying attention. Because suddenly, I slipped down that crack at the end of the escalator, right where you're supposed to step off.
Esto es más extraño que la conversación de los parlantes.
Yes, exactly the thing kids are always worrying about, getting sucked down the escalator.
¿Cómo es que eso puede ocurrir?
Well, first quite quickly, and then very slowly. Before you know it, you're banging around in the chute, and then you land at the bowling green. That's what they call the entrance. That's a
Es muy raro esto,
some onboarding materials and that fake grass carpeting, so the landing isn't so rough. It's the most fantastic place. Under the escalator, just vast. Like falling out of bed and landing on the moon.
¿Hay más personas?
Oh, no. There are other people there, but not much good for company. Everyone's just waiting to get out. Very poserish scene down there. Let me tell you. A lot of staged ennui.
Entonces, ¿qué hay ahí para hacer ahí abajo?
Oh, not much really. There's an old black and white TV that only gets a few channels. There's some old board games just lying around, but they're all missing pieces and instructions. There was one box that promised 8 games in one. But I couldn't figure out for the life of me how to play a single game. A couple of decks of cards, all incomplete. I must have dreamt.
Sí, porque se me
I
ha...
found the 4 of clubs.
Estaba escribiendo, preparando el directo este, y por lo que se ve, ¡pum! Se me ha enchufado ahí la cámara sin... Empezó a streamear sin darme cuenta. O sea, que podía estar aquí haciéndome una chusca y casi me ve todo el mundo. Te debes haber muerto de aburrimiento. He estado 4 minutos en blanco y negro con mi careto mientras escribía cosas. No es la primera vez que me pasa. O sea que... Como tengo mezclado con el teclado, pues de repente toco la combinación que sea y ¡pum! Se pone a grabar, a emitir. ¿Cómo mantienes los alimentados?
They stuff mannequins full of food and supplies, put them on the escalator, and just let them slide down the chute. Well, that's a big moment when they drop the mannequins down. Really breaks up the monotony. Everyone rushes over to tear the mannequin apart to get their hands on the food inside.
Pero aquí le ha entrado el sueño. ¿De qué hablas de sueño? Parece como un sistema extraño.
Oh, indeed. But I guess it's the easiest way to get the food to slip down the crack. Now, one time, a real guy fell down the shaft and was mistaken for a mannequin. Now, he was half torn to shreds before I pulled him out of there. Poor fellow.
Anda, vete a comer un yogur, anda.
Lifelike enough.
O vete a dormir, que no sé qué dices.
Oh, yes. He was really quite beside himself. He gave me his pipe as a token of appreciation for saving him from the mob. Well, I still keep it in my pocket.
Hostia, qué cosa más rara, tío. Linda pipa.
Oh, look. Let's give it to her place.
Ahora las voy a dar.
Let's see if she's feeling more sociable. Lola, dear, are you feeling more chatty now? She says her tea party is still missing 2 guests. You see, we just need to find 2 more of her
Dos más de
friends.
sus amigos. No lo sé, antes. Otro objeto de memorias. Casete.
Ah, of course. My audiobook about the Gulag makes perfect sense. Only one more object to find now.
¿Por qué le importa una cinta de cassette?
Oh, well, it's something I used to play for her in the car an awful lot. There was this one story she used to adore.
Es un juego del año pasado, hace un año salió. ¿De qué trataba la historia?
Story. Well, it's about 2 guys. In a way, 2 guys like us who were side by side, both waiting for something to happen.
Continúa.
Now, these 2 fellas were both prisoners in the Gulag. Do you know what the Gulag was?
No exactamente.
So, the Gulag. That was these forced labor camps where they used to send people in Russia, right? The thing is, the Gulags weren't closely guarded. It was pretty easy to escape.
¿Por qué era fácil?
Because these camps were off in the absolute middle of nowhere. You could escape, but then what would you do? Well, you'd starve to death. So there was a trick. It was called the sandwich. Now, say you and I wanted to escape the Gulag. 2 guys like us, friends. We recruit another guy, a 3rd guy, to escape with us. And preferably a nice, fat, buttery guy.
Te jodas que el
The
tercer
fat
te lo
guy
comías.
was called the sandwich because the idea is that the 2 buddies, us, we kill and eat the sandwich on the way home to survive.
Hostia.
It's great, right?
Están como una puta cabra, ¿eh? Los conductores.
Maybe I didn't tell the story right.
¿Por qué a no le gusta tanto esa historia?
Oh, I think mainly just because of the setting. Siberia. Bears love stories about remote places. Well, I haven't told you the best part yet.
Soy todo
Well,
oídos.
there was one time these 2 guys escaped with a sandwich. But there was a problem. They finished the sandwich too soon. Didn't ration him out long enough. He was all gone. And they still had days to walk through the Siberian tundra.
Están muy locos,
These
tío.
guys were great friends, but they were also hardened criminals. And so they knew that whichever one of them fell asleep would be eaten by the other one. But the code of criminal friendship didn't allow them to acknowledge this. So they had to keep playing it, nonchalant, chatting about stuff, whatever people talked about back then, trudging through the snow.
¿Sobrevivieron?
Who? Oh, those 2 convicts. Oh, no. One of them fell asleep and got eaten by the other. But it's their ability to keep face that I always think about. Their honor that couldn't admit any suspicion. I mean, you don't totally trust me, right? Well, I can see you looking out the corner of your eyes. You don't think I know where I'm going.
Nos falta un objeto.
Listen, can I ask you an honest question?
Adelante.
Okay, here goes. This girlfriend of yours, why is it so important for you to find her? I mean, okay, the burnt photo, damsel in distress, etc., etc. I get it. But if you can't remember anything about her...
We'll always have this.
La verdad, ahora recuerdo una cosa.
See, this is Lola's influence. It's starting to work. You feel it, right?
All you have to
No,
do
no
is
creo.
find your way
No.
back to me.
Keira. Ahora recuerdo su nombre, es Keira.
Let's keep him as our pet.
Vi una luciérnaga, estaba encerrada en una botella de vidrio.
You two didn't even mean to capture it. It just flew into the empty bottle.
Es un buen recuerdo, el único que tengo hasta ahora.
Yeah, so you think maybe the goal of this whole ride is to return to that moment of innocence and recapture the magic of that moment?
Sí, pienso que eso es.
Well, for your sake, I hope so.
¿Qué quieres
I
decir?
think you know. You're like me. The past is the only place left for us. When we were young, we thought the past could only tie us down. Everything we wanted, freedom, lay ahead on the open road. Well, that was yesterday, and this is today. Now the past is all you've got, and the future is full of pain.
No, este no es. No creo que sea tarde para las cosas.
Well, when we get to the warehouse...
Keira.
to the warehouse, remember to keep an eye out for a firefly in a glass bottle. It shouldn't be hard to spot. They tend to keep that place pretty dimly lit.
Hace frío.
Oh, look.
Recuerdo esto del coche anterior.
Looks like Vern started doing some advertising. I guess he's finally
Veo esa
decided
picada
to
del
take
muñequito.
matters into his own hands. Normally he's so stoic, letting things take their own course, never complaining.
Intento esconder la verdad de mí.
Well, he was just trying to help you. Seems like you can use it. You're totally infected with this frontier spirit, am I right? Always move ahead, always continue along the two-lane blacktop. Maybe Vern exaggerates a bit, but at least he knows these parts. You should turn back here. No, I'm serious.
¿Qué es lo que te pasa?
It's just Lola. Blast nothing.
Estás perdido, ¿no es cierto?
Someone changed the street signs. Him. He's been here. I swear it was the second left past the red house. But don't worry. Don't worry. We'll find it. It's right around here.
¿Tienes mapa en algún
No,
lugar?
it seems to have disappeared along with the car manual. I just want to find my dog. Ah, these streets all look the same. This is worse than falling down an escalator. Here, take this. See if you can figure out which way is east.
Un calidoscopio. Esto no es una brújula, es otra cosa.
Are you sure? I mean, look through it and see if it tells you which way is east. No luck, huh? Well, maybe it does something useful. Oh, listen.
Está como una puta cabra el tío este.
Hopefully we can get out of this maze now and head on our way. Lola, dear, this young man and I, we're looking for... She's saying something. Something about you. A car crash? No. He's fine. Well, just look at him. She thinks you've caused some kind of accident. I can vouch for this young man, Lola. Well, he's been with me almost the entire afternoon. She says she knows who you are and that she wants to help you. She's gathered these memory objects for a purpose, for you to put together, to bring you earthly knowledge, she says. Very peculiar.
Junta los objetos de memoria. ¿Qué coño? Sí, no, coño. Falta la pipa, ¿no? Una cámara de fotos. ¿Esto qué significa?
Well, isn't that something? It's alchemy, my boy. Art. A camera. Your means for turning water into wine, redeeming the past, renewing memories.
¿Qué se supone que tengo que fotografiar?
Well, nothing needs redeeming more than the American suburbia. Now, am I right? Americana, where the surreal intermingles with the mundane. Here's your chance, my boy. Create a photo journal. Win some awards.
Supuestamente era un fotógrafo. Nos ha dicho otro conductor.
Firefly, sent directly from your memory, I suppose, to guide you. Oh, hello there, Lampiridae.
¿Este es él? No jodas. Debe ser que de 20 años más joven.
Oh, those sideburns. Don't let my students get a hold of that. I think they're not done yet. They want you to take more photos. They want to show us the way, but they can only do it through photos. Gee, I didn't notice him standing back there. Should we go back and pick him up?
Chaleco anaranjado, lo he visto antes.
Who is that guy anyway? You don't sound very glad to see him. I think they're not done yet. They want you to take more photos. trading post.
Justo de intercambio.
Interesting proposition. I expect you get something rather valuable in exchange for this particular camera. It can't. Ah, no, no, my dog.
No te preocupes, Hobbs, la encontraremos.
How? If I can't find her in the past, I don't have a chance of finding her in the future.
Como tú dijiste, podemos redimir memorias.
Oh, that was just nonsense I said to cheer you up.
Vaya, hombre. Puede ser que los ciénagas nos ayuden una última vez.
I just want to find my dog. Is that a dog collared in the street?
Creo que lo hemos encontrado.
I suppose. But what's happened to her? She's invisible. She's lost in time since the warehouse closed its doors. That's it. Capture her with that camera of yours.
Oh, qué bonito dog.
Oh, you're a good dog, Hobbs. You ran past the funny mailbox through a door, and we'll find you, don't worry. We've got to find that house.
Se encuentra la casa que tiene buzón peculiar. Esa es la del gallo.
That's the one.
Ahí está.
Hang on.
¿Dónde estamos?
Look, the silo. That's my house. Funny how you can come upon the very place you live and not even recognize it. All depends on the angle you... Hey! There's Hops! Thank goodness. Oh, I've almost got her back. Listen, I didn't realize the warehouse was closed, but we must do it again. Now you have to promise me, pinky promise, that we're going to meet again in a year, okay? This same spot. We won't exchange contact info or anything like that. We'll keep it old school. Meet here in 1 year's time. What do you say?
En un año. Vale, una cita.
Wise plan, young man. People like to say that you can't live in the past. Well, look at me. I'm living proof to the contrary. Look, your fireflies are back.
Hostia, cosa más rara, tío.
Seems like they're waiting to give you one last memory. Hops, wait for me!
¿Se ha pirado?
I just think it would be fun to ring the bell. I lived here my entire childhood. I feel like I have the right.
Sure, but we better make it quick. Lots of driving to do still.
Hello. What can I do for you two?
This is gonna sound funny, but
Not at all. Come right in.
Este es Hobbes, ¿no?
oh, sorry, I've got to take this.
Haz lo que estoy que os ha contado.
To me, it's perfect here. I don't understand what's so great about our life in Seattle. Don't you ever think about making a change?
Sure, but this isn't the kind of change I had in mind. I get it. You grew up here, so it's your baseline of normal. But this just isn't my idea of an adventure.
Adventure. It's real here. It's a good place to grow up, to have children. At least it was for me. I can always find myself here. Same stars, same fence, same mailbox.
Hey, you need a ride someplace?
Vale, ese es el objeto que os he dicho el primero que tenemos que encontrar. La caja. Voy a abrir la ventana, que hace calor. Y seguimos, ¿no? A ver qué pasa. Ya que estamos. Son unos 40 minutos que hay historia. Ay.
Listen, I'm not your girlfriend. And I'm not your mother. But you'd better finish that pickle, or else I'm stealing it.
Así que, ¿tú quién eres?
Me? I'm a waitress, dummy. Waitresses have to be whatever people want them to be.
¿Trabajas aquí?
Yeah, but not today. Don't worry. Thursday's my day off.
Discúlpame por arrastrarte hasta aquí en tu día libre.
That's okay. It's nice to sit on the other side of the counter for a change and see how the other half lives. This music, isn't it dreamy?
Sí, es perfecta para este lugar.
I can tell we have some things in common. We both have to live by our wits. Hitchhiking isn't an easy trade. Waiting tables isn't either. I'll show you what I mean. Corned beef hash with 3 eggs over easy, whole wheat toast and hash browns. 2 eggs scrambled with bacon, sausage, English muffin, and french fries with mayo instead of ketchup. 3 eggs over easy with well-done bacon and a side salad, hold the toast, Greek omelet with well-done hash browns and white toast, a short stack of blueberry pancakes, coffees all around, and 1 Diet Coke. So, how many orders of toast were there?
Un montón. Pero diré orden otra vez más.
Okay, here it is. Corned beef hash with 3 eggs over easy,
Joder.
whole wheat toast and hash browns. 2 eggs scrambled with bacon, sausage, English muffin, and french fries with mayo instead of ketchup. 3 eggs over easy with well-done bacon and a side salad, hold the toast, Greek omelet with well-done hash browns and white toast, a short stack of blueberry pancakes, coffees all around, and 1 Diet Coke. So, how many orders of toast? Yep. Well, unless you count the English muffin. Then it's 3.
Vale, lo entiendo, es buena.
I figure there's an art to hitching a ride. You have to be able to read people very quickly. Waiting tables is no different. You get to know what people want before they know what they want. It's a sixth sense.
¿Qué llegaste a leer de mí?
When I picked you up, with you it was easy. Your mind is an open book. Seeing you wandering through that street in the suburbs, clutching that strange blue box like a talisman, I could see that you needed a good rest, a good meal, and a dose of friendly advice from someone who's looking out for you. It's good you managed to lose hops back there. Let me guess, did he try to make you promise to meet him again?
Sí.
Yeah, we've all made a few of those. This highway is practically paved with broken oaths sworn to Hops, patron saint of useless stuff. He doesn't mean badly, Hops. He's just a bit stuck in the past. That's why he has all that junk in his car. Can't let go of anything. Can't change. People like to solve problems with the tools they understand. Hops thinks all the useful tools are in the glove box of his own memory. That's why it's good you got clear of him. He's a bad influence for someone like you.
De todos modos, prefiero esto aquí.
That's good. You can't live in the past. Well, judging by the faces in this place, you can't live in the present either. Look at these blue screen zombies. Everyone glued to their phones. Depressing.
Muy típico de estos días.
The living dead all around us. Not you two, though.
¿Quiénes dos?
You and your girlfriend. You were very much animated. Although,
Joder con la novia, tú.
maybe not in a good way. That was some argument.
¿Por qué todo el mundo no se
Well,
acuerda
if it wasn't
discutiendo?
worth arguing over, it wouldn't mean anything, I guess.
Así que, ¿qué pasó?
Well, I'm not one to eavesdrop. Something about text messages being present. The usual suspects when it comes to couple arguing somewhere in public in the 21st century. I only caught the end of it. It was one of those things that suddenly boils over. One moment you were sitting there having your strawberry rhubarb pie and trying to figure out where the next gas station is. The next moment, when I came back with your check, there was this big scene with you storming out the door.
¿Yo? ¿A dónde fui?
Beats me. You didn't come back, though. She hung around for another 20 minutes, mainly talking on her phone. Then she got her stuff and left. Seemed like she was making a plan to meet somebody.
¿Qué te dio esa impresión?
Well, the way she was... And when I was wiping down the counter, I found this. Have a look. You might find it interesting.
Balkan Tours and More. Rosas. Thursday. Esto es jueves, ¿no? Es 4 de la tarde.
Weird, right? Gets weirder, though. Check out the back. What kind of rendezvous? I mean, I figure that's not your card.
¿Qué es Balkan Tours?
Beats me. I just work here. Sorry, Copernicus. I've helped you all I can this time.
Aquí no importa una cantidad de si nada, esto existe.
Well, things become real when we invest meaning in them. When we
Hay
make
problemas,
them
sí.
real.
A mí se me está parando, sí. Está yendo como el culo. Pero muy mal. No creo que sea así de sencillo.
There's a poem about this. A guy is having an argument with his friend. He's freaking out because the meaning of every word, everything, every idea seems to be falling apart. After a while, I understood that talking this way, everything dissolves. Justice, pine, hair, woman, you, and I.
¿Dónde leíste el poema?
It's my day off reading.
Libro de poesías. Así que, ¿qué pasa con ese tío?
Well, he remembers this lover he had, and that helps him get his head screwed on straight again.
¿Ella lo salva?
Well, in a sense. It's more that he thinks back to what it was like when they were together, and the different memories come together and leave him with a sense of specificity. That things are real and not just a big pile of words and concepts and Stuff that fall apart the moment you try to squeeze them tight.
Estamos
He
hablando
thinks
de
back
los
to when he was a
tapes.
boy and remembers this river where he would try to catch the little orange silverfish called pumpkin seed.
Semilla de calabaza, me gusta.
That's nice, right? Feels good to say. Pumpkin seed. Makes things feel more real. Look at me. Don't forget me. See me for who I am. Pumpkin seed.
¿Qué es lo que te preocupa tanto?
You wouldn't believe how much people project their weird bullshit on me. It's the curse of the diner waitress. Less a real person and more a blank screen.
¿Cómo confesar tus problemas?
Oh yeah, plenty of that. But also just these cliches people have with diners. I can't tell you how many swingin' dick detective McGurks I've met in this place. Give me a coffee as black as a moonless night, darling. Shit like that.
Pero tú pareces el tipo de mesera bien aterrizada en la tierra.
Are you sure about that? Or is that just what you want me to be? You don't seem to realize that you're the one pulling the strings in here.
Qué interesante teoría.
Well, everyone has an agenda. People think they come to a diner for food, but they're really looking for something much more profound. They want something, and at the end, they settle up. You bring the bill, and they have the chance to make good again. Everybody wants to be forgiven. It's a simple transaction. You're no different.
Suena como un trabajo duro.
Only when you're as good at it as I am. In this job, you work as a professional shapeshifter. After a while, you can't even recognize yourself in the mirror anymore. You start to realize that nobody is what they seem. Not you, especially not them. This whole modern problem of people not really being present, it's everywhere. And technology only makes it worse. Once the robot doubles started showing up, that was the tipping point.
¿El robot qué?
Robot doubles. The first models were so expensive, only Silicon Valley types could afford them, like electric cars. But pretty soon it got to the point where basically anybody could afford a robot double of themselves. You could pick one up at Walmart, one aisle over from the toilet paper and the firearms. Even the company that produces my cheap-ass phones started them. They claimed they were on a mission to disrupt the human space. I hate that word, disrupt.
¿Qué pueden hacer estos robots dobles?
Pretty much anything you want. But there's where you have to be careful. It acts like you, but it only performs at about 70% of your capabilities. It's you, after a bunch of drinks. So, if you're smart, you only trust it to do really simple things for you. Go to the post office, jury duty, fill in for you at your boring job. But people are lazy. They grow dependent on their robos, use them for all kinds of things they shouldn't, making complex calculations, blowing up boulders. People send their robos off to be with their wives, their families, while carrying on affairs. Check it out. Imagine you and I are in a relationship. Then you notice I'm acting a little slow. My eyes aren't focusing quite right. Like this. Look. See it?
No puedo ver ninguna
You just need
diferencia.
more practice. Then you'd realize that I just stuck you with a pile of bolts for the evening.
Pero de pronto yo también puedo haber enviado mi robot para estar contigo.
Right, so here we are. Two dummies out on a date together. Would your robo be smart enough to know that I'd sent mine?
¿Y si lo supiera me lo contaría?
Or would they keep it a secret between themselves? All kinds of ethical issues, right? I don't know. I know you're trying to make your eyebrows move weirdly just to mess with me.
¿Cuál es tu problema con los robots dobles?
Did someone stand me up with a robo? No, not exactly. It's more about this thing that happened to me at work once.
¿Qué salió mal?
It happened in my former life as a flight attendant. Grab that thing and pull up a chair. I'll tell you all about it.
Robots dobles.
You feel like a sack of bolts yourself doing these safety demonstrations. People are zoning out, staring at their phones like the blockheads in here, or else just leering at you like you're the first woman they've ever seen wearing a uniform. But you start getting good at spotting the doubles. They're often the only ones paying attention, staring at you with those not quite human eyes of theirs.
¿Está permitido abordar aviones?
Technically, no. They're not supposed to be there. But like I said, people bend the rules, and security rarely checks.
Suena como una receta para problemas.
They're fine on the runway, perfectly docile. But something goes wrong at altitude. Something about the navigation system. The FAA wanted to study it, but the study got shut down because you're not supposed to have them on aircrafts in the first place. So yeah, I learned to spot them right away. It becomes a job requirement, a matter of survival. Here, try your luck. Have a look at the table. So, 1 mustard, fine. 3 mustards, not so fine. The one on the left is the real one. See if you can track it. Keep your eyes on the prize. 10 will get you 30.
La hostia. Vaya, he perdido, chaval.
Uh-oh, you just accused Mr. Corporate Entitlement of being a robot. Unfortunately, it's really him. That's going to cost you 1 complimentary business class upgrade. Want to play again?
No.
So, where was I? Pick that up again, and I'll show you what happened next. One time, we were doing a flight into Galveston, and we had a sudden drop of cabin pressure about 100 miles from our destination.
Oh, ¿fueron los robots lo que lo usaron?
No, but imagine this. Everyone's freaking out. I'm trying to help a girl with her arm in a cast to get her oxygen mask over her head. Suddenly, I'm aware of this Frankenstein monster lurching towards me. The robos, they're like an army of the undead. I don't know if they were affected by the sudden change in cabin pressure or what, but they just lost their shit. People are screaming, and we're huddled together like a band of villagers with pitchforks to fight these things, throwing crap at them from the drink cart, locking them in the toilets, and so on. Luckily, they started fritzing out on their own, like Hal in 2001 when his brain starts melting. Let me tell you, as soon as we got over water, adios! Out you go, robos! Threw them right out of the cabin doors.
Esta última parte no parece posible.
Throwing the robos off the plane? No, you're right. That didn't actually happen. You can't just open the hatch door like that. But it's a nice image, right? I like to think of it sometimes when I'm lying in bed trying to sleep.
Algo así como contar ovejas.
Kind of. You need practice to be able to spot them. They're everywhere these days. I can see one in this diner right now, in fact. Can you find it?
Encuentra un autor doble. Está en algún lugar de esta cafetería.
That's right. The king. Can you believe it? God, I miss the king. They say that it was the first robot double prototype ever made. He actually sent it off to act in some of those cheeseball movie roles he had. That's why they were so bad.
¿Estás bien interesado en los robots?
Am I? Says the guy who called his own girlfriend a robot. I seem to recall you standing right there, complaining, it's like eating lunch with an automaton.
Punto válido, supongo.
You really don't remember anything? What you were fighting about? What happened next?
Ni idea, desafortunadamente.
Well, I've got a little game that might help you remember. It's kind of like a telephone seance. Ready?
Vale.
Hello?
Hola.
Is that you?
Sí, ¿quién es?
This is your girlfriend.
Huh?
Yes, it's me. I'm calling from beyond the grave.
Ah, vale, es bueno volver a verte.
So, who are you with right now? Am I interrupting you?
Estoy con esta mesera amiga mía.
Oh, a waitress. waitress. Is she pretty? Maybe I am interrupting something.
Es una amiga, me está intentando recordar.
See, I told you this is a good game. Okay, so I'm your girlfriend. Somehow I'm not with you now, and you don't know why. Except I am with you right now. That pretty much sum it up?
¿Con quién fuiste a encontrarte después de que saliste de aquí?
No, this is my game. I get to ask the questions first. What's with this gas station you're trying to get to? What are you hoping to find there?
Estoy comenzando a recordar cosas ahora.
We need to get gas in a sec. Hey, stop it!
Recuerdo estar discutiendo.
It's like we spend 1 year falling in love and the next 4 breaking up, right? What took so long? Were you just afraid of being alone? Or maybe you didn't want to be the guilty one, the one who blows things up and hurts me. Were you waiting for permission from me to end it? Waiting for me to give you... Exactly. Waiting for an excuse.
No exactamente, solo que
What?
no te quería lastimar.
You didn't want to break anything. You couldn't get over the idea that this great future we were supposed to have could just be wiped out. The beacon we'd always talked about, our light in the bottle, gone. You left it to me. Put it on me to do what needed doing. Well, I finally gave you the sign you were looking for, right over at that counter there.
¿Quién era esa?
You guys need anything else, or you're okay for now?
We're fine, thanks.
You do anything to make it different, right? To fix things.
Solo quiero
You still
ayudarte.
can. And I can be her for you. Together, we'll open the box.
¿Cómo esto puede ser posible?
You can make it happen. You can make it real. What do you say? Miss the old times? Let me be her.
Sí, puedes
Good.
sustituirla.
Now it's your turn. You can ask me one question, whatever you want.
¿Quién te hizo hacer planes para encontrarse en la estación de combustible?
The man on the phone.
Vaya hostia. ¿El de Balkan Toast?
Yes, the one I was texting when we were eating lunch. The man with many eyes.
¿Muchos ojos?
Yes. He has 10 eyes, like this.
¿Como una mosca humana?
No. He wears them around his wrist, like a bracelet.
Vaya mosqueo, tío.
Even while he sleeps, a few of them keep watch, their eyes open. He also wears an orange vest.
Chaleco naranja, ya lo vi en el asiento de atrás.
Find the man with many eyes, and his friend, the man with mirror eyes. They're the ones who did this to me.
¿Cómo los encuentro?
Close your eyes.
Hey, where'd you go? It's like you went somewhere else there. Having some irresistible dream.
Creo que no estoy en él.
Good for you. You don't have to wake up, but we do need to pay the bill.
Necesitamos llegar a esta estación de combustible ahora mismo.
Works for me. What's the sudden rush?
Creo que mi novia la está manteniendo cautiva allí.
Are you sure? If you're lucky, maybe she hasn't even gotten to the gas station yet.
Pero otra que te decía...
Well, the card has Thursday 4 p.m. written on it, right? That was 2 days ago. And need I remind you that today is...
Tu día libre es jueves.
Yeah. If we leave now, we can beat her there by nearly an hour and find out who's waiting for her.
¿Qué haremos una vez llegamos allí?
Well, that's easy. If I'm made up to look like her, he'll give himself away as soon as we arrive. I have a few wigs in the car.
Suena arriesgado.
Well, that's the thing. You'll be waiting in the car with my phone. You can call the police the moment anything looks funny. And like I told you, I'm an expert shapeshifter. Come on. Time to be forgiven. And time to hit the road. Time to pay the check so we can get out of here.
This thing about robots is chilling. It says that 60% of the workforce won't have a job in 20 years. Hey, can you put down your phone for 3 seconds? I'm trying to have a real human connection with you, and you're so tuned out. It's like I'm eating with a robot.
I'm sorry, I know. We need to get gas in a sec. You can tell me about it while we're in the car.
Would you put that thing away?
Hey, stop it! Come on, let go!
Who is that? Who are you writing to?
God, keep your voice down. Look, I've been driving for ages. I just need to space out a little.
A little? It's like you're a million miles away.
Can you just give me a break, please?
We were just taking a break, remember? Now we're back together, but I feel this is the last place in the world you want to be.
Well, that's what I'd call a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Ain't love grand?
Joder, qué carácter, ¿no? Tiene la novia.
Come on, let's get out of here.
No boga tú que tiene la colega. El libro.
How do I look?
No estoy seguro de este plan.
Don't worry, it'll work. I'm good at this. I'm a very apt pupil. A very apt pupil. Here, take my phone. Call for help the moment something looks fishy.
Tengo una pregunta.
Shoot.
Me dijiste que ella y yo tuvimos una discusión.
Right?
Que salí corriendo y dejé el restaurante primero.
I did, yes.
Pero en mi memoria así no fue como pasó exactamente.
Right, it was her.
Fue ella quien dejó el restaurante primero.
Yes, and?
¿Por qué me mentiste acerca de eso?
Listen, there's something at the end of this road that you don't want to find.
Las personas se lo pasan diciéndome esto.
If you only wanted to find it, there wouldn't be all this conflict.
¿Qué conflicto?
Drivers lying to you, drugging you with raisins, all the little glitches, things that don't make sense, the static. It's hardly been a smooth ride, has it?
Lo haces sonar como si fuera mi culpa.
I'm just saying, there are two sides to every story, right? The argument back at the diner, maybe there was something missing for her. Something missing between the two of you.
¿Qué crees que está faltando?
Have you stopped to think for a moment about why you keep finding these photographs? Why they are so important to you?
Ellas me ayudan a recordar.
They're a way of capturing reality, right? They're objective, but they're also you. They tell the story you want them to tell. That camera of yours, it's a weapon too. Take a photo of me, and in the photo I'll never change. I'll never grow away from you.
Ellas son memorias en las que puedo confiar ahora mismo.
So, what did you learn back there from your photo?
Ella estaba teniendo un caso con el tío del teléfono.
Oh?
Sí, eso es lo que parece claro. Vi el número de teléfono.
Oh,
tienes
you
mi
have
teléfono.
my phone. Why
Entonces,
don't you
¿por qué
call
no
it
me
then?
llamas? No puedo ver todos los números. Esto faltaban dos. Pues,
And
pero
you think he's also this man with all the eyes?
el hombre con muchos ojos, sí.
Hey, you said he has 10 of them, right?
Correcto, él los usa alrededor de su pulso.
Have another look at that card.
Tenemos aquí el teléfono, tío. 5550143.
Ten little eyes. See him?
Bueno, es 55562. ¿Qué supuestamente tengo que hacer? ¿Que no me he enterado? Inspecciona la tarjeta. ¿Pero qué tarjeta?
Freaky, right?
Wow, eres brillante.
Well, almost there now.
¿Qué pasa con esa luz?
Sorry,
Rosita, buenas.
I don't think your next ride is going to be so comfortable. No free refills and pickles with your fries.
¿De qué estás hablando?
Sorry, Copernicus. I might have used you a little like you used me.
¿Usarte?
Let's just say, I'm not your girlfriend, and you're not my knight in shining armor. It's nothing personal, just a simple transaction motivated by self-interest. Nothing different than what you
Oh, no.
chose back at the diner.
Ay, lo que hay que aguantar. Venga, a tu casa. ¿Cuándo dices acción?
Maybe when you chose me to be her? Ring a bell? There's a price to be paid for everything on this highway. The bill always comes sooner or later. Yes, he's almost out. We're pulling. I'll be handing him over in a sec. Hang on. There's a third car now. A Volvo. Pulling up. What's that doing here? What the hell? Watch it, buddy.
¿Nos iba a entregar a alguien o qué? Cosa más raruna, ¿no? ¿Con qué sujeto el
Yellow.
teléfono? Bueno. Ver.
Copernicus? Is that you?
Sí, ayúdame a salir de aquí.
Let me guess. You've gotten yourself into some kind of jam. Swinging by your toes over a tiger cage?
Lo único es que estoy metido en un coche.
Locked in a trunk? That doesn't sound like part of your dream. How'd you manage that?
Es una larga historia.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you. You've sworn to deceive me, Vern. I'm going to feed the birds now. I want to know the truth. Look where that got you.
Vale, ya probaste tu punto.
Speaking of which, did you find the box, Copernicus?
La que está con llave, sí, en el buzón.
Have you opened it yet?
No, no he encontrado la llave.
Figure out a way to open that box, Copernicus. Inside, you'll find out who you really are.
Me ayudaría algo si encuentro el hombre con muchos ojos.
Don't mess with him, kid. He's the final gatekeeper. Way too strong. You need to learn the spell first, before you can go up against him.
¿Existe un hechizo? ¿Qué hechizo?
Hey, if I knew it, I'd tell you. But let's start by getting you out of that box. Lucky for you, I've got my farmer's almanac here. Let's have a look. Hang on. See, cabbage, caraway, carrot, car trunk. First thing you should do is reach around for the latch. Sounds kind of obvious. Okay, next step. See if you can scare up the brake lights. Can you find them? It's a little gizmo with some wires. Okay. Yank on the wires and try to pull the lights into the trunk with you. Got them? What color are the lights? We need a green light, kid. A steady green light. That's the way forward. Gotta run now. Good luck to you, kid.
Ay, me cuelga, qué cabrón. Muy bien. ¿Y por qué? Vale. Pero no entiendo. Es que el seguidor me jode. No entiendo por qué esto, pero bueno. Ángela, buenas noches. What? ¿Cómo fue que te pide tu maletero?
ما أدري شو بدي تسوي بسيارتي
Vaya.
بس من خبرتي بهذا المكان راح تسح بعدين
¿Inglés?
إنجلش آسف ما أدري هاي مو صدق
Pues
بس
sí que
أنا
estamos bien.
أشعر بيه كان من صدق حجة سعر كل شيء هنا إلها دلالة رمزية السترن الجير ولا القرن على الدشبول هسه حتى
No,
لو
no,
أحد
putas, no.
إيدي من
Es una novel.
السيارة من
visual
كيف
novel.
تمشي عدل بس من
Espera un
أقول
momento.
أشوف إنه هذا جنهل
Una cosa un poco
هسه
rara.
شنو اللي
No te
تغير
entiendo.
وإذا هاي كله
Que no
إشارات
te entiendo,
شنو
hostia.
معنى ماله إيه معود على كيفك أريد أوقف
Traduce las palabras del conductor. Sí, pues ya veas cómo. Sí, súper.
Puedes ver el horizonte al final del camino. And the time el cielo está tan bajo que no puedes parar de derecho. And he oído que el cielo
Es de ese tipo.
tan bajo que no puedes parar de derecho. Puedes hear my gaze, mis ondas totelos de bien. Enfin, un mirage, drogado horizondo. Pamichwe black, wanacheya, pope, pamie dopchodu. Gwiazdy na niebie świecą mi, kipu na statyski. I'm sitting here, my gaze is drifting.
¿Hablas en inglés?
English? No, sorry. I could, of course, back in the real world, but it doesn't seem to have come with me into this place.
No recordamos nada de nuestro pasado y supuestamente hemos discutido, vamos recordando un poco el pasado y es una novia que hemos discutido, entonces queremos encontrarla, es que es una historia, entonces es básicamente eso. Pero estamos hablando en inglés ahora.
To me, this sounds like Arabic. I guess it depends on one's perspective. Anyway, as long as you're not going to start shouting at me again, it's an improvement.
¿Cómo llega Mateo a tu coche?
How would I know? It's not even my car.
Si es su coche, me jodas, tío. ¿Por qué no estás manejando?
No idea. I find myself behind the wheel here night after night. And the trunk, that's my dream too. You don't want to know how many hours I've spent in there, trying to shift my legs to keep them from falling asleep.
Sé que es el siguiente guardia.
What do you mean? Whose guard? Yours?
¿Por qué no solo me dices de qué se trata esto?
Why should I know? What makes you think you can turn up out of thin air and interrogate me? Who are you anyway?
Dime tú primero quién eres. PH, patía tú. ¿Cómo se llama? ¿Cómo te llamas?
I'm not sure actually. But here, it's funny. On this highway, everybody calls me Al-Shatir.
Shatir. ¿Por qué es gracioso?
Never heard of Ibn al-Shatir? A famous astronomer. I guess you don't learn about him in your schools. One of the forefathers of astronomy. In many ways a predecessor to...
¿Copérnico?
Yes, that's right.
Gracias, de cualquier forma, ese es mi nombre aquí.
Copernicus, Al-Shatir. Two iconoclasts from different lands who challenged the belief that the sun revolves around the earth.
Es que es una historia un poco rara. Apela, de verdad. Es el cuarto conductor que nos montamos. Somos un autoautopista.
Maybe you're not just part of my story, like I'm not part of yours. You were trapped in the trunk, where I've been many times. It's like you've wandered into my dream, and I've wandered into yours.
Encuentro eso difícil de entender.
It takes a leap of faith, I know, to admit that we both exist.
¿Conoces al hombre con muchos ojos?
Man with many eyes. No, I've run across many strange things recently, but not that.
Así que entonces, ¿de quién estás huyendo?
From wars, from bombings, from the cockroaches that crawl out as soon as the dust settles. On the news, you hear only about armies and religious madmen, but it's the gangsters that drove me away. They're the ones who did this to me.
¿Cómo terminaste en este lugar?
I'm one of the ones who didn't make it. Not all the way. I'm stranded somewhere in between, trying to complete the journey every night in my sleep.
¿Cómo fue que empezó tu viaje?
The El Mahdi army. They called themselves an army anyway. They were looking for my brother-in-law, because he worked as a translator for the US military. Neighbors warned us we should move, and so we did, twice.
Dos veces.
Yes, twice. No sooner had we moved the first time than neighbors started telling us that we should move again, that there were people looking for us.
Suena horrible.
By this point, we already felt a bit like exiles, and once you're an exile, you never stop being one. The hard part will always be leaving our first house. That's the house I grew up in. The backyard, where we used to sit and tell stories, where we would pick oranges from our own orange tree.
¿Qué ocurre en la siguiente casa?
A few years passed and we forgot about the threat. Life had returned to normal, and that's when they came back and picked me up. 2 days later, when I woke up in a Baghdad hospital, I found out that they dumped me off there and told the hospital that I'd hurt myself in a work accident.
Entonces fue en ese momento cuando decidiste salir.
Yes. After that, I couldn't stay.
Cuéntame acerca de tu vida.
The women in my family, my mother, my sisters, they were the only ones who knew.
¿Por qué los hombres
I
no?
was very close to the women in my family. They were the ones who were around all the times while I was recovering. The men, my father, my brothers, always working, always out of the house. I got on a plane to Istanbul, where my cousin lived. He took me to Izmir, where the smugglers are. They're easy to find. I bought a space on a vessel, headed to Mytilene, Greece, the closest harbor in Europe.
¿Qué tipo de barco era?
Just a simple raft, but not as overcrowded as in some of the stories you hear. I was lucky, at least in the beginning. We couldn't leave for 5 days. Too many Greek army ships in the sea. Every morning, getting up at 3:30 to make a go of it. By the 5th day, I was so tired of waiting that I wasn't even scared to get on board any longer. Finally, impatience had overtaken fear.
Cuéntame qué pasó luego.
We did not make it to Europe. A boat pulls up next to us. People are trying to understand what's going on, but the men on the ship only speak Greek. At first, people are worried that it's pirates. They take everything from the passengers. Sometimes take the passengers themselves. Sometimes just ram the boat and laugh as it sinks. But no, these are police, it turns out. They take us back to Turkey, where I'm waiting, and waiting, and waiting. Of course, I did not remember all this in my dreams at first. These were things I remembered from clues I found along the highway.
Suena familiar.
I've dreamed this highway, this car before, many times.
¿Por qué sueñas una autopista americana?
It's a good question. I had an uncle once who left Iraq many years ago to study engineering at the University of Bowling Green. I guess this made an impression on me. Who knows why we dream the things we dream? What is your dream about?
No estoy seguro. Puede ser solo una ruptura amorosa.
A breakup? That's it?
O puede ser un secuestro. Hasta algo peor.
Ah, that's more like it. Who has been kidnapped? Who's this person that's been taken away from you?
Mi novia.
Do you have a photo? Who knows? Maybe I've seen her somewhere along this highway.
Sí, hay una foto de mochila.
I know her. The same
Conozco.
woman, but with different hair color. I just saw her at the gas station a few miles back.
Esa no es ella. Esa es una impostora.
An imposter? But she waits tables at Dante's, right?
Cierto, aunque ella me traicionó. Esa es la
Betrayed
autopista
by a
anterior.
friend. That's a familiar note to me. And yet, the waitresses at Dante's usually play it straight down the line. They can dish it out, but they only give you what you deserve.
Bueno, le pedí que cambiara de lugar con mi novia.
See, that was your first mistake. In this place, it's important to see things for what they really are. Keep them pinned down. The moment you start shifting things around to suit your needs, well, you're like Pandora, opening the box.
Así que, ¿qué era lo que ella estaba haciendo en la estación de combustible?
She was standing with two men. It looked tense, like she was defensive about something, explaining herself. I don't think they fully believed her.
¿Cómo lucían ellos?
One man was wearing an orange vest. He seemed to be in charge. Another, shorter guy next to him. Mean-looking, like a shrew.
Chaleco naranja, así que era toda una trampa.
A trap? So, they were looking for you?
Creo que sí.
Sounds like getting in my dream. Getting in the trunk. May have saved your neck.
El tío principal podría ser que tuviera un brazalete con círculos en su brazo.
No, I didn't get a look. I just heard one strange thing they said. That they were looking for a guy
8 dedos.
with 8 fingers. They were going to find
Coño, yo.
him.
Me faltan los meñiques.
Something like that. 8 fingers. 8 digits, maybe.
Esto soy yo. Tengo su número de teléfono.
And you wouldn't happen to have a strange blue box with you, would you?
¿Qué hacemos? Sí.
That was the other thing they mentioned. They have the key, but don't want the box opened.
Me imagino por qué.
Well, if they were chasing you... Say, have you noticed how many tumbleweeds there are suddenly?
Bueno, estamos en un
I
desierto.
don't know, but the weather also seems to be turning suddenly. Turn on the radio and see if you can find a weather report.
La hostia, la que está cayendo.
My God! Get that thing off the window!
Ojos.
Get it off! Get it off! It seems to be changing the weather conditions.
Sunny skies today, and we could hardly ask for better weather. A balmy 72 degrees, with mild breezes throughout the day. Although there is only a 10% chance of rain, this good weather can't last forever. Sunny skies today, and we could hardly ask for better weather.
Suddenly, it's sunny. It's not working. They're stuck to the car. We need some other kind of weather to get clear of them.
Tu clima.
Level 300. Level 300. Level 3.
Looks like tornado conditions now.
Oye, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estamos?
The tornado. It's starting to pull the tumbleweeds off the car, but it's not strong enough.
Joder, muy bien.
Warning, tornado 20 feet from car. Tornado.
Ahora sí.
It worked. Oh, good riddance. Look, that was very strange, even for this place.
¿Qué fue todo eso?
I don't know. It seemed they were spying, searching for something. Did you notice? What do you know about these guys? The ones who are after you?
El líder tiene muchos ojos, como 10.
Seems he had a few extra to spare for the tumbleweeds.
Es por eso que está preguntándote por el brazalete antes.
I see. What else?
Tengo una tarjeta de visita.
Let's see. Balkan tours?
¿Lo
Not
conoces?
directly, no. But I've heard about them. From a guy in Istanbul I met. He had made it through to Europe, but then had come back to get his family. But that's another story. He had come across those Balkan tours on his way back from Serbia. He warned everyone about them who would listen. Apparently, they had a charitable program to help refugees, promising to help them. But no one who accepted their help was ever seen from again. People just disappeared. And it wasn't just people in the refugee community either. Tourists too. There were strange stories.
¿Qué tipo de historia?
I only heard bits and pieces. Nothing very clear. Mirrors. Rooms full of mirrors. People losing their minds and never coming back.
Suena horrible.
Yes, people who were heading from Turkey into Croatia and Serbia were being warned about it. Watch out for mirrors. Rooms full of mirrors. Rooms full of ice.
Necesito hacer algo para ayudarla.
Well, my friend, I think right now the best thing you can do is run for safety. They probably have a good beat on your location, assuming the tumbleweeds were on their payroll. Make no mistake, these guys are dangerous.
¿Qué es lo peor que puede pasar si esto es un sueño?
Well, we've all been in a dream we've wanted to wake up from, but couldn't, right? Let's just say there are people who thrive on that fear and have ways of keeping you from waking up. Exactly. What did you do to these guys anyway? Why you?
No lo sé, por esta caja que está atrás de ella.
Right. Where did you get the box?
En un buzón, ¿no? Mi novia me la dio.
They must be worried about what's inside. Worried it will expose them, all the things they've done, to her and to all the other people they've hurt.
Así que, ¿cuál es el plan? ¿A dónde estamos yendo? Esta es la caja. Pero me falta la llave.
I wish I knew. Even if I make it to my destination, I'm still not home. That's what it means to be an exile. My niece, Nadia, used to ask me that question all the time. Where are you going, uncle? She was the only young person who knew I was leaving. Imagine, she knew when my father didn't. I was always mad at my sister for telling her. She would ask me that when I was putting her to bed.
¿Qué dijiste?
The only thing you can tell when a person that young asks you a question like that at bedtime. I told her the truth. Not the truth, but the truth wrapped in the blanket of a story.
Nadia's story.
There's a place where the river Tigris runs through Baghdad. A place called the Two-Story Bridge. When I was a kid, I would go fishing there and look out at the water and wonder where it all led. As a child, I was told that the farthest place on the earth from Baghdad is a place called Fiji. I would train my eyes on the horizon and imagine that all the water led there, to the point where the sky met the earth. To my child's mind, Fiji was the place where the sky touches the earth. These people of Fiji, they must be very tolerant people to live in such a place where one has to stoop over at all times and can never stand up straight. Eventually, they resolved to live and find a new home, where the sky was farther from the earth, where the pandanus tree can grow high enough to be woven. So, they left this land right under the sky, leaving behind those people so old and bent that they no longer cared to stand up straight. The other Fijians gradually moved away from the edge of the world, and the sky got a little higher, and then they found a marvelous place. It was fertile and lush, with excellent weather, an orange tree for every backyard. But there was one problem: earthquakes. Terrible earthquakes, as frequent as rains during the springtime in this country. All because the sky was still close to the earth. When there's thunder, it echoes off the roof of the sky and causes the ground to break. But the Fijians adjusted. They built their entire civilization out of rubber. Rubber houses with rubber beds that would sway during the quakes, with rubber restraints that would hold the sleeping Fijians tight while they dreamed.
Pues vaya, Qué historia.
But Nadia didn't want a bedtime story about that. She wanted a story about good and evil. The kind of story children like. So I changed it for her to be about a Fijian princess called Nadia, who finds the source of all the earthquakes.
¿Qué pasa en la versión de cuento de hadas?
So, Nadia finds a dragon hiding
Bien.
under the earth. A dragon with a splinter in its toe, whose terrible roaring causes the earth to break.
A la mañana hemos jugado un poco.
Nadia slays the dragon
Muy chulo.
and saves the people by uttering a magic spell. Konothi se auton.
¿Qué es lo que quiere decir?
Konothi se auton. It's actually Greek. Rolls right off the tongue, no? Okay, that was interesting. Can you say that again? All the mirror eyes closed.
Sí, es mucho mejor Random 96, pero sí, es una novela visual y es un tío haciendo autostop. Este es el hechizo que Ben dijo que necesitaría.
Seems like it. And look, that's not the spell's only power. The card. There's a phone number on it now. Now.
55674, este es el mismo que está en las...
Do you know what this means?
Es el mismo este. Ah, no, es el que aparecía aquí, cuando llamaba a la novia.
I think you're ready to make a certain phone call.
Para la Cantos. ¿Ves? Es el mismo número de teléfono que estaba en mi novia.
Ready to put your spell to use?
Sí, estoy listo.
Good. Do you have a phone?
Tengo un teléfono. Me he adelantado. Sí, pero es mío. Pertenece a la mesera.
Even better. So, here's the
Los
plan.
llamas.
You call them and tell them you want to sign up for a tour.
Vale.
Here's the thing. If they act like they're taking you on a tour, everything is good. But if they've figured you out, they'll try to distract you while they kidnap you. Take it from me. They tell you someone you care about is in danger. But don't believe it. If everything's fine, then everything's fine. But if someone you know is in danger, it's a trap. Get out of there. Are you ready? Dial the number.
Yeah.
¿Es este para el Cantos?
Yep. What can I help you with?
Me gustaría comprar un tour.
That's a big park. You near the Argus gas station on Route 90?
Sí, lo estoy.
All right. I'll pick you up in an hour.
Recógeme.
You don't have a car, do you?
¿Cómo lo sabes?
Just guess from your voice. So, see you in an hour.
¿Dónde nos encontramos exactamente?
Don't worry about that. I'll be waiting for you once you land.
So, it worked then?
Oye, ¿qué está pasando contigo?
Isn't that how these things normally work in the stories of this country?
¿Qué quieres decir?
Other characters shows up, imparts some hard-earned wisdom, then conveniently fades away.
No te desvanezcas, esto te ayuda.
It's a few minutes before 3:30 in Istanbul. There's another raft waiting. Another try.
No me dejes.
Don't worry, my friend. You have allies all along this road, even in the cars of enemies. I've left something for you.
¿Qué hostia se ha dejado? ¿Ya se ha virado tú? ¿Qué está en marcha? es lo que ha dejado el cabrón de él? Es un Tesla. ¿Qué es lo que ha dejado, tío? Ah, joder, el sobre, la hostia.
Hey, sorry I haven't written in a while.
Bueno, acaba, ¿no? A ver cómo acaba esto. Vaya mosqueo, tú.
Hey, sorry I haven't written in a while. It took me all morning just to figure out where to buy stamps here. So, I'm sending you something from my trip, like I promised.
De la novia.
Last week, I was at yet another barbecue. People here really enjoy their pork chops, let me tell you. There was this old-timer there, the host's father. He was talking about inflation during the war years. He ran upstairs to get something he was excited to show me. He comes back down with a 50 billion dinar bill. He starts talking about, at the time they printed it, inflation was so bad that in the morning it could buy one sandwich. By lunchtime, it could buy half a sandwich. It's a beautiful piece of printing, don't you think? All these O's lined up next to each other. Anyway, keep it tucked away for safekeeping. The big piece of news on my end is that yesterday, I finally tackled my fear of heights. Your humble correspondent from the Balkans went hang gliding. Yes, me. Hard to believe, I know. I wasn't gonna do it, but this tour guide guy I met talked me into it, facing my fears and all that. But then the tour guide takes me to the hill where they do the hang gliding, and they're talking about the most crazy thing that happened the week before. You're not going to believe this. It's a tandem dive, so they have you strapped in with an instructor, right? Well, last week they strapped someone in, but the instructor forgot to strap himself in securely. They go running off the cliff and the instructor tumbles down the hill. The instructor was okay, just some bruises. But now the other person is stuck up in the air with no idea how to fly the thing. Everyone on the ground is freaking out, yelling instructions up in the air about what to do. The girl said later that once she got over the initial terror, it was like she'd been flying a hang glider all her life. It must have been exhilarating, conquering that first wave of fear. And once you're up there, it is amazing. The best thing is that you look down and there are these tiny white cotton ball things on the ground, and then you realize they're sheep. It's not so hard to steer either once you get the hang of it. Today, when I was looking for stamps, I bought one of those inspirational refrigerator magnets in a tourist shop. It says, "Do one thing every day that scares you." I know you think this kind of thing is cheesy, but I actually think it's profound.
Te conecta los objetos de memoria, ¿verdad? No veo.
I hope we can do stuff like this on our road trip together. Can we? Sometimes I hate how we live in Seattle, just sitting around in our own heads all the time. I feel like it's the reason we've been arguing more lately before I left. If you don't shake the fear out of your system on a regular basis, it curdles up into anger. I don't want to be angry.
Este sí, sí me lo he mandado, sí. Es muy raro uno, ¿eh? No tiene nada que ver con el RON 96.
Well, time for your idealistic
Era
correspondent to
un
sign
mini
off.
puzzle de algún juego y poco
I'm so
más.
used to writing emails that it hurts my hand to write a real letter now. How sad is that? But I promise to write more often.
Un poco la historia, a ver cómo desencadena, cómo acaba sin más.
And what about you? I don't expect a real letter, but an email would be great. How is everything going? How did it go with that California assignment? The thing about grape farmers? That was this week, right? I miss you. I feel a little nervous about coming back home to you, but a little nervousness is nothing to worry about. That's what I've learned here. Fear is the mind killer. Love you.
Jeez, there you are. Nice of you to grace us with your presence. I've been looking all over for you. You were supposed to be waiting by the post office, remember?
Oficina postal. Pensé que íbamos a encontrarnos cerca de la estación de combustible.
Look, we've all got a lot on our minds since the accident. I don't have time to drive all over Mankato looking for you. Barely gotten any sleep since it happened.
¿Desde qué pasó qué?
The accident, right?
¿El accidente es grave?
She's in the ICU being evaluated for something called sub-fucking arachnoid hemorrhage. So, yeah, she's great, dude. Never been better.
What? ¿Hasta dónde estamos yendo?
What? Hang on.
La hostia. ¿Qué diablos?
Shut up. This isn't just any kind of phone call.
¿Pero qué estás diciendo, tío?
Yes. No. I know.
¿Manejo yo?
No, he turned up eventually. Yeah, he's sitting right here. Do you want to talk to him? Should I put him on live with you? No, I didn't think so. Yes. Okay, I'll wait then.
¿Qué fue eso?
What?
Ese casco.
It's called a headset. It's a good way to not wreck your car while you're using a phone. Something I would think you'd be very invested in at this point. Look, it was an accident, I know. Sorry. But you just don't pull a phone out of someone's hand while they're behind the wheel. You should have known better.
This is Skycam from KTOE, reporting to you from Mankato. For those of you heading south on I-169 on your commute, Copernicus! Expect some delays around the route.
Darlene?
What?
Don't say anything. He can't hear me. Only you can. Listen, don't say a word. Do you have that locked box? If you do, roll down the window as a sign. The exit at 13 South.
Hey, do you mind? I'm trying to listen to this.
It's okay. You can close it now. No point in making him angry over nothing. Okay, good. You can't let these guys get a hold of that box. He may even have the key on him, this guy. They're taking you to her, but you have to be careful. You need to figure out how much they know.
¿A dónde estamos
To
yendo?
the hospital. Is this funny to you? Because it's not to me.
¿Qué lleva el Cantours?
Do you really want to go there? You really want to talk about this? Now? Of all moments? Fine. Listen, I know that she wasn't honest with you, that she couldn't bring herself to be straightforward about her feelings. I know it hurt you, man, but you two'd been growing apart for a while. In the end, she just wanted to be with someone more dedicated. That's the direction she was growing in. It didn't happen overnight, but the trip to Europe and meeting Craig, yeah, that was a big part of it.
Que dijese a quien lastimé y a quien lastimó, no yo, ¿eh?
Oh, is that what you tell yourself? That all this is somehow his fault? Fine, whatever. Yes, we're all working against you. Are you satisfied now? Because this is hardly the time to bring your hurt feelings out onto the stage. Can I tell you something? You're a great photographer. I mean, nobody doubts that, man. But at some point, if people keep screwing you over, keep betraying you, at a certain point, if everywhere you go, people keep being assholes to you, well, guess what? Maybe you're the asshole.
¿Te importa si enciendo la radio?
The radio? Sure, go ahead.
Copernicus, there's no time to lose. You have to act quickly now, before he puts that helmet on again. Use this bell. Stop him.
What? Yeah, know thyself. That's what I'm talking about. Gnathi Seaton, Greek for know thyself. That's a good start.
El hechizo no está funcionando.
I know you've had a rough 24 hours, but we all have. I mean, she's my sister after all.
He's lying.
¿Hermana?
Hang on again, I gotta get this.
Hostia,
Yeah, I'm
mosquito,
here.
tío.
We'll be there in just a few minutes. Yeah, he tried it just like we expected. No, I'm fine. Yeah, I agree. It's time to call his bluff.
Step on the brake. Stop him. Do it. Step on the brake.
Ah, what are you doing? Let go!
Para nada. What? Recuerda lo ocurrido. Encontré una imagen de memoria para cada narración.
I'm going away for 2 months. I'll be back before you know it. I'm going away for 2 months. I'll be back. Here's a security deposit. Here's a security deposit. It's great, right? I'll send you something special from Europe to put inside. I wasn't gonna do it, but this tour guide guy I met talked me into it. I wasn't gonna do it, but this tour guide guy I met talked me into it. So I'm sending you something from my trip, like I promised. I wasn't gonna do it, but this tour guide guy I met talked me into it. I wasn't gonna do it, but this tour guide guy I met
Ah,
talked me into
la
it.
delta es. El lateral es este.
I wasn't gonna do it, but this tour guide guy I met talked me into it. So I'm sending you something from my trip, like I promised. It's a beautiful piece of printing, don't you think? All these O's lined up next to each other.
That was some argument.
You two came by my house, yes? See, that's my silo. There in the background.
The argument back at the diner, maybe there was something missing for her.
No es una cosa que me vuelva muy allá va. Juegos.
Visiting hours are until 7, so yes, you'll get a chance to see her.
Hospital.
She thinks you've caused some kind of accident.
Find the man with many eyes. They're the ones who did this to me. He has 10 eyes. He wears them around his wrist, like a bracelet.
No me suele errar por ningún juego. Elías. Igual me equivoco, pero todos los juegos así se muetres, o se pega una hostia, cojones, todo el mundo como loco. Ha habido juegos así de antaño que han traído que todo el mundo ha estado como puto loco y se han pegado una hostia de escándalo. Porque el de Monkey Island, te guste o no, es de mi época. La gente de ahora, los millennials, no juegan a aventuras gráficas.
Fireflies can't talk. Someone has to speak up for him. If the 6 tiny mittens don't fit, you must acquit.
Yeah, I'll set it free in a minute. I just think this light is incredible.
Let's keep him as our pet.
Now's being cruel. I think I'll always remember this.
This is one of those nights, right?
One of what nights?
We'll always have this. If you ever get to a point where you feel like you've lost me, all you have to do is find your way back to here and sit down beside me.
I hope the grass isn't so wet next time.
I'm serious. Write a note to your future self and put it in this bottle. If there's ever a point where things have gotten totally screwed up between us, that moment isn't real. This one is. All you have to do is find your way back to me.
What if I can't find the way?
That's why I've made you this beacon. A bottle with a green light to show you the way. Sense of direction isn't exactly your strong suit, Copernicus. Let's make a pact. With this honorable firefly as witness. I promise my screwed up future self won't mess this up for us.
I don't know. My future self can be a real jerk.
Mine too. We're going to make mistakes. Hurt each other. Everyone does it. So, time traveler, what news? What wisdom do you bring from the future?
That it's never too late. That any mistake can be fixed.
Good, if that's what you believe.
Un poco más raro, chaval. ¿Se ha oído? ¿What? Hostia, ¿quién me lo explica? No me entero de nada, tío. Madre mía. Vamos, que se fue con otra chavala, ¿no? Por lo que se ve. Y un accidente. Bueno, no sé, tío, no me entero de nada, macho. Bueno, pues ya está. Bueno, son otros juegos que hemos pasado. No tiene nada que ver con el Round 96. El Round 96 es muchísimo mejor. Pero bueno. 3 horitas, no he llegado. Muy raro uno, sí. Repetir viajes, paso. Bueno, pues ya está, no sé. Raro. Sobre acertijo tu historia, tu pista sin memoria ni destino. No me ha matado, el juego. Le falta, sí, no, es... Pues bueno, pues ahí lo tenéis. Sin más. Pues nada, visto lo visto, nos iremos a dormir, que estoy un poco reventado. A ver si descanso un poco más. Y ya está. Mañana probaremos un Blade. ¿Cuál probaremos mañana? Bueno, no sé, no me acuerdo cuál es. Uno de terror, de la Play 1. Tipo Play 1. No es de la Play 1, son gráficos tipo Play 1. que la verdad que lo que probé lo subí al canal 20 minutillos y me gustó mucho lo que vi. Y sale mañana. Y tiene embargo hasta mañana, así que mañana lo probaremos. Así que nada, gente, lo dejamos aquí. Así para las 2, no me lo puedo creer. A ver si me voy a dormir realmente pronto. Y no me lío demasiado. Así que son gráficos de la Play 1. Tipo... O sea, es un juego hecho ahora. De hecho, sale mañana. Pero son gráficos tipo Silent Hill. Muy pixelados y... Es de miedo, es de terror. Pero no sé cuánto de terror puede tener. Mala pinta no tiene, ¿eh? Se produce dentro de un salón de máquinas recreativas. Y tenía lo poco que jugué, de hecho lo dejé porque me empezó a molar y dije, bueno, vamos a dejarlo. Tenéis en el canal si queréis ver. No sé cuál es, no sé qué Blade, Jagger Blade, porque es, no lo sé. Mañana lo vemos. A ver si... Es que no me acuerdo cómo es. No me acuerdo cómo es. Mañana lo vemos. Así que nada, gente, muchísimas gracias por estar ahí. Como siempre, a la mañana algo entraré. No sé si daremos Tini o... Yo creo que le damos al Tini. A la tarde nada porque curro. Y a la noche pues probaremos el de miedo ese. Así que gracias por estar ahí, como siempre, un placer. Y un servidor se pida a dormir. Adiós. Hasta mañana, gente. A ver con qué os puedo dejar. Bueno, os dejo este, no sé quién es. Pero ahí está. Polis por uno. Una gran persona.